Finally, hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Elion, and we are here with the absolutely amazing Bob Mitchell. Welcome, Bob.
Al, thank you for having me on your show. I deeply appreciate it. It's great to talk to you and all of my friends and fans in the UK, as well as around the world. I'm looking forward to a good time with you, boss.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Glad to have you on. So, Bob, could you introduce yourself?
Introduce myself? Well, I just happen to be
Yeah.
your favorite singer. I'm Bob Mitchell. No, I'm Bob Mitchell. I was born and raised in Hoboken, New Jersey, the same town as Frank Sinatra, Jimmy Roselli, Pia Zadora, the Cake Boss, and Joey Pants, who played Ralphie in The Sopranos. We're all from Hoboken. We're all proud. And me, I am just happy to be here, like I said before. And I thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So let's dive into some questions. So,
Ask
as a kid
away.
growing up, yeah, as a kid, what were you listening to?
Well, I got into singing for one reason. Um, Dean Martin. He's the reason I became a singer. And it's a simple story. I've told it before. Anybody who's followed my career, they know this. I was watching him on TV with my grandfather one day. I was 5 years old, mind you, and I'm watching him, and he's sitting on this couch, and he's surrounded by all these women. And I looked at him, and I said, "I want to be him." So that was it. I got the bug to be a performer and a singer, and fast forward a couple of years, I think I was 12 years old in 1977, and I had my first band, and we were called The Blast, and we would do music by the Beatles, the Monkees, the Hollies. We would do some Grand Funk, any heavier type of song that was on the radio at the time. We would do, and we had a nice little run there, and that's what began for me. I had my first show May 17th, 1977, and I've been in show business ever since. It's been a
Oh,
fantastic run,
oh,
and I wouldn't change a thing for the world.
so, who actually got you into music? Was it a parent or was it Dean Martin? It was who you watched on TV with your grandfather.
It was Dean Martin. I mean, we listen to music in the house, of course, every Sunday. Uh, my grandfather would play all my singers, like Jerry Vale and Matt Monroe, Tony Bennett, Jimmy Roselli, who's from my hometown of Hoboken, Sinatra, but Dean was it for me, and I was encouraged to follow my dream. That was the one thing about my grandpa. He was very old school Sicilian man, but he was not set in his ways in as far as others achieving their dreams and wanting to do what they wanted to do. He was my biggest cheerleader, him and my mother. So they encouraged me to pursue. If I wanted to be a singer, go pursue it, but keep it clean. That's what I was told, and I have. I learned very early to respect our business and treat it as a business, and never ever fall into the trappings of what this profession can bring you, meaning the bad stuff. And I never did.
Yeah. So, uh, uh, was Dean Martin the only influence on you to become a singer, or was there somebody else who inspired you to say, "Ah,
No,
Dean
I
Martin's my main"? inspiration.
Yes, he is from day one. Dean Martin's the reason I wanted to be a singer. The reason I wanted to be in a band was the Beatles. I mean, they are now and forever the most prolific, most important band in the history of music, perhaps the history of the world. And I'm not the only one to say that. Um, I first got into the Beatles watching the cartoon show as a kid, and I didn't think they were real people, but I thought the music was great. And then my aunt, she came home with a Beatles album, and she says to me, "You know those guys you watch on TV, the cartoons, the singing group?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, here, this is them." And I looked at the album. I said, "These guys are real?" I think I was 6 or 7. And she said, "Yeah, they're real guys." I'm like, "Wow." So I got into the Beatles. I'm like, I like this. So it just evolved from there. And then as the years went on, I discovered the rock singers that I've idolized, like Ian Gillan, Paul Rogers. Um, oh, who was the other one? Oh, God, his name escapes me right now. He was the lead singer for Uriah Heep. Anyway, those guys right there, they were for me masterful, and I still listen to all that music to this day. And then as I got into metal, I got into Halford and Dirk Schneider and so on and so on. So, and John Oliva from Savatage, and it just evolved. But it all begins with Dean Martin.
Cool. Yeah. So, uh, I did, as I was saying before we went live, I did a little bit of research on some of the bands that you were in. Could you sort of like tell us a little bit about them?
Which one do you want to know about?
Uh, Let me see. I've got five bands here. The first one, sort of like Attacker.
Yes, Attacker was my most successful venture in the business. I have success because of Attacker, and I'm forever grateful to have been in that band. Um, we don't talk, we're not friends, but that's show business. But the time I was with them, we put out 3 fantastic albums, and I was able to tour Europe, and we've played with some of the biggest bands in our business. For example, back in the 80s, Attacker and Fate's Warning were a double bill. And we went around the East Coast, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And we played around with Fate's Warning for a while. And then both our bands opened for Motorhead at one point. And it was a fantastic run. And then when I came back to Attacker in 2003, we had an even greater run because we were able to perform in Europe. And wow, that's going on 20 years ago. And it was a great run. We did 2 more full length records. We did a best of. And by 2008, that was it for me with them. And that was it. It just ended. But the music lives on, and people still enjoy what I've done with that band. And I'm very proud to have been a part of it.
Cool.
So,
The next band that I did a little bit of research is uh, Vindicta. Could you tell us a little bit about that band?
Vindicator, that came
Yeah.
about. That came about in 1999, and actually, that wasn't the next band. The next band after Attacker back in the 80s was Night Hunter. That went from 87 to 89. From 89 to 92, I was in Sleepy Hollow. Then from 92 to 99, I got into becoming a ring announcer for professional wrestling. And then that died out. And in 1999 to now, I got into music again. I came back with a cover band called Denim and Leather. Then I think after that, then it was Vindicator after that. And during that time, I was also in a progressive group called Alchemy X. And with the two bands, we put out two albums, and they both did very well. They both came out, I believe, on Unisound Records over in Greece. Then after Alchemy X in 2003, I went back to Attacker. Then after Attacker in 2008, I joined a German group called Scepter. We put out a single. You following me? You okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Good, because I don't know what I'm saying. Uh, after Scepter, I put my own group together called Mind Assassin. And the great thing about Mind Assassin is I was able to record an album with the great Joe Hasselvander from Pentagram and Raven. So that went really well. After that, I joined an Italian group called Savior from Anger. Okay. And then after that died out, went back to I went back to Mind Assassin. Then after that, went back to Scepter. And we didn't tour, but we did record an album. Okay. And at that same time, I was in another group with Joe Hasselvander called the Hounds of Hasselvander. So here's how it goes. From 2019 to now. 2019, I performed my last stage performance ever as the front man for the Hounds of Hasselvander, okay? And that was November 3rd of 2019. So after that, in 2020, I recorded the Scepter album and the Hounds of Hasselvander album. 2021, the pandemic hit. 2022, I got a stroke. And then I retired. But that was it. My last and final recording was the Hounds of Hasselvander. So my recording career began in 83 and ended in 2020. My stage career began in 1977 and it ended in 2019. So that's a pretty damn good stretch.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So it was really good. I was able to put out a lot of great music. And I think I failed to mention all in between all of that. I think it was after I did the Scepter single in 2008, I went back to Sleepy Hollow. We recorded the Skull 13 album, and we had a great run with that. And it culminated with an appearance at Rocklahoma here in America, which is the biggest rock festival at the time. And then shortly after that, we disbanded. And then I moved on to the other bands from there. It's been a hell of a run. And you know what? I'm so lucky to remember all this. So, and I got to say one more thing about this. Doing these interviews have been so beneficial to my recovery from the stroke because it's jogged my memory and it's allowed me the privilege of looking back and checking out all that I've done throughout the years. And it's been remarkable. And again, you know, I may not be friends with a lot of the guys I was in bands with, but I was very blessed to have been able to work with them. And what better way to end your stage and recording career than with a legend like Joe Hasselvander? It doesn't get better than that. So I'm very privileged and I'm very pleased. And I'm happy to know that a lot of my fans still appreciate the music I've done. And I tell you what, El, since I've had my stroke, I've been in touch with my fans more and more than I've ever been. And I think my fan base has increased. So it's really remarkable. It truly has been a blessing. As weird as that may sound, it truly has been a blessing. So
Yeah, it has. It has. So, um, what have you been up to? I know you've had a stroke, and have you got any plans on doing any new material, or you just look, I'm not going to go back into the studio?
well, I'll tell you what. As far as going through the rigors of performing, recording, writing, I don't think I'll go back to that grind. I mean, it was great, but all that work, all those hours of staying up and performing and this and that, it's what led to me getting sick because I wasn't really taking care of myself. Now, do I want to go back to that? I don't think so. I'm enjoying myself now. I'm just enjoying just relaxing now, and I don't have to worry about a thing. My family is well taken care of. The house is run perfectly well, and I can look back and enjoy all the things I've done in my life. But for all the things I've done in show business, there is no greater accomplishment for me than the day I became a father. That right there beats everything. So I get to enjoy my family. I get to reflect on a wonderful career. I stay in touch with my fans. And the other great thing is that um, I am a stroke survivor. I survived to see the birth of my grandson. Okay. I survived to say farewell to Kiss with my kids. I survived to hear the new Beatles song and 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 enjoy it because it's such a beautiful song. I don't know if you've heard Now and Then just yet, but the
Yeah,
Beatles, the Beatles, they are killing it again, and I'm here to hear it. So I'm very pleased. And in recent times, I thanks to Dark Age Records, um, I was able to put out some demos that I've recorded throughout my recording career from I think 1986 through 2016. I would record a bunch of demos with a bunch of other bands and stuff that never got released. And Dark Age Records wanted to put it out, and they did. And the two CDs are completely sold out before the release date. We gave a release date. We announced the release date. And then I get an email from the owner of the label saying, hey, you know what? The pre-sales are sold out. There's not a copy left. So that's a testimony to the work that I put into with all these bands. And it's great. It's a very gratifying feeling. And I'm happy that all of you who bought on Earth, thank you. I deeply appreciate it. And it's nice to know that people still care. So,
yeah,
but even now, just sitting around, I sold a bunch of records without even trying. How cool is that?
yeah. It is cool.
I love
Uh,
it.
is there any more plans of releasing any new, any of the previously unreleased material?
You mean doing new music?
No, like the say that you've just released a couple of CDs of unreleased stuff. Are
Right.
you planning on doing releasing any more unreleased stuff, unreleased material?
I don't think I have any more. I mean, I think everything I've released up until recently, that's everything I've done. And to go back and write, no, nah, no.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if I come across something that I've done that I may have forgotten I've had, maybe I'll put it out if the label is interested. But if they're not interested, I'm not going to push it. And I certainly will not put myself through the grind of it again. So
Yeah.
this release was easy because the guy that I dealt with, he's a fan and he wanted to do this. So it was easy. So I just gave him all the music, gave him all the band bios or whatever, the backstories, and he put a nice 16-page booklet together and a nice CD package together. So I'm very happy with that. But again, if I come across something, maybe it'll come out. But up until this point, my friend, everything I've ever done is officially out.
Yeah. So, um, for like I said, you said there's some like previously unreleased stuff out there you can get. Where can people find you on social media so you can actually so people can basically listen to some of your music?
All
Where people can find you?
basically my entire, I guess for lack of a better term, my mainstream releases. Okay, my entire career is on Spotify. You can't miss it. Everything I've done on the mainstream aspect of commercial releases, it's on Spotify, with the exception of Mind Assassin and Savior from Anger. You could find those that music on YouTube. And I believe the new Hounds of Hasselvander that I sing on, is also on YouTube, not on Spotify as of yet. So, but yeah, it's out there. I mean, all the videos that I've done over the years with Attacker and Sleepy Hollow, even Mind Assassin, it's all on YouTube. So my career is out there, and the numbers of my Facebook page, if you all want to say hello, just come by my Facebook page and drop me a friend request. I'll be glad to say hi to you. So I'm not hard to find.
So this is probably going to be my last question before we
Okay.
start wrapping things up.
All
Uh,
right.
you've had a long varied career uh, for decades now.
Yeah.
Any advice for people who want to become a musician?
Yeah. Respect the business for what it is. Don't be delusional. Keep a job. Always make money. Do not count on this business to make money. There's a reason you see a lot of mainstream musicians that have platinum selling records and what have you. They're doing other things to make money. Why? Because you have to. Always keep a job, always make money. Don't rely on this as your sole um, reason to have money in the bank to take care of your family. There was a time you could, but the 1970s are long over. So um, that would be my best advice. It was advice that was given to me, and I stuck by it, and I'm very well off for it, and so is my family. So that would be my advice. But the number one most important thing, respect this profession. It is a profession. It's not a leisure thing, you know. Um, in the beginning when I started, there was two reasons to get into this: money and women. So if that's your thing, that's a beautiful thing. But even with the women, respect the women. Okay? That's how I've always done it, and that's how I expect a lot of people to do it. A lot of people have not, and those are the people that have fallen by the wayside. They get into drugs, they get into stupid stuff. They have no respect for their audience, they have no respect for the profession, and look where they wind up. You know, we some people criticize Kiss for being the way they are, all with the money, with the money, with the money. But guess what? They've done other things too to make money. Why? Because they have respect for this profession. And that's why they have lasted this long. No other reason. That's the number one thing. So if you want to get into it, treat it with respect or don't do it at all.
Sound advice. Sound advice.
Yep.
So, we're going to start wrapping things up here, Bob.
Okay.
Any last words before we sign off?
Well, I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be here on your show. I really deeply appreciate it. I do hope to come back. I've been doing a lot of interviews for a lot of years, and I do repeat business with a lot of personalities. So I'd like to add you to that list and come back
Oh,
someday.
yes.
And if I may, if she's watching, Christina Avila, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I appreciate you most of all. And it's been great, and I love it. And it's finally a privilege for me to talk to my friends in the UK. So I have a lot of friends in the UK, so it's finally nice to interact.
Yeah. Bob, you are most welcome. You are more than welcome to come back on to do an interview or be on the podcast. You're more than welcome to come back on.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time, Al. Really, I do.
Yeah,
You've become a good friend in such a short time, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. And thank you for coming on.
All right. I love you guys. I love all of you. Thank you for 40 plus years of a wonderful career and a great life.
Right, guys. Until next time, catch you all later.
Ciao for now, Pally.